Hey you guys, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install some well visors on a 13 to 17 Honda Accord sedan model. So first thing you're going to want to do is clean the trim where the visor is going to sit with the rubbing alcohol pad that is provided. Alright, so the visor is going to sit in this area, so go ahead and clean it good. You want to make sure that double-sided tape sticks good to it. If you guys are cleaning something with rubbing alcohol and it doesn't have the chrome trim like this one does, it has a plastic trim, I suggest drying it right after with the rag. Make sure it's clean. But because what happens if you rub this rubbing alcohol on plastic, which you also have to do this for other models that have plastic trim, but if you rub this on plastic and you kind of just let it sit and dry it itself, it seems to kind of dry up the plastic area, and you don't want to clean too much, and then you're going to have all this piece shiny looking like you guys have like armor all or something, and then another part that sticks down below the visor is going to be looking like all dry or something. Make sure you guys do that to both sides. Alright you guys, if you're installing a different brand that has clips for front and back, you're going to want to roll down the front and back windows. For these well visors, they just have clips that go on the front, and it has like anchors for the rest, but I'll still go ahead and roll down all the windows. So for the front visors, when you install these, you have one little clip that's going to be going right here for the front door. Besides that, it's held on with double-sided tape and 2 anchors. So the first thing that you're going to want to do on this visor is peel off this foam. They put this foam on here for shipping, so when it ships, if they didn't put this on, it'd probably scratch up the other visors and stuff. You could see the little bit of like residue that stays on here from these being stuck onto here. So you just want to make sure you clean that. You could kind of scrape it with your finger, or maybe use some type of goof off or some type of product or something to take it off easier. I usually just kind of rub this piece, the plastic part, with my nail or with my finger just to get it off. After that, you have this piece. Once you put the visor on, then I suggest peeling this after. You have a chrome trim on here. This plastic's just on there to protect that. When you put these on, make sure you line up the visor first. So on these, they could actually go all the way towards the end right here. Depending on what visors you guys are putting on your car, some of the cheaper like no-name brands have a big gap right here in the middle, so you have to line it up before you put it on, because whichever one you guys are putting on, the visors might go a little bit more forward and you might have a gap right here. So try lining them up before you actually bother peeling off the tape and sticking them on. On these, they go right here. Once I peel off this tape, you have these little anchors. You have 2 on each visor for this brand. So I usually just pull this rubber forward a little bit. So I put the visor close to where it's going to go and pull this rubber forward a little bit, so the little anchor goes in there and pulls down easier when that rubber's pulled up like that. Alright you guys, so I ended up peeling off all the red part from the 3M tape. After that, when it's cold or like if it's raining and we're installing these, I always use a heat gun just to slightly heat up the tape. Be careful not to burn your hands because the heat gun does get really hot. If you guys don't have a heat gun, you guys could use a blow dryer. If you're putting these on a hot day or whatever, it's fine. I just like to heat up the tape a little bit. I feel like it makes the visor stick on there better, especially when it's cold. I've seen people put these on in the parking lot and they just peel the tape, stick it on, and it ends up coming off on them pretty fast. So when I put these on, I line up the corner. The tape's already peeled, it's heated up. If you guys are using a heat gun, be careful where you put the heat gun down. Don't put it next to something where it's gonna end up melting something, or next to any cardboard where it's gonna end up catching that shit on fire. So when you put this visor on, I line it up right there. After that, I get the little anchor to line up with the plastic. So I got that first anchor on, and then from there I just put pressure down and push this piece down. This is the reason why I tell you guys to peel this part back a little bit. It just makes it easier for that anchor to go in. So now for the next anchor in this area, I put my finger right here so the tape doesn't stick yet. And get that second anchor in. And then same thing, push down a little bit so that it matches with the trim. After you guys put the visor on, I suggest pushing down on the area where the tape is at. Don't put pressure on here because you'll probably break the visor. Now for this one, it has a little clip that's going to be going on there also. Alright guys, for the clip that's going in the front, you have 4 pieces. This metal piece and 3 plastic pieces. These 2 pieces you push together, just not all the way because it has to be skinny enough to go in through the front hole of the visor. This little donut is going to go on the back. Once this clip is on there, on that plastic by the mirror area, this little donut goes on the back. This goes in from the front of the visor. When you push this and apply pressure to click it in all the way, it's going to expand in that little donut so that it doesn't move. So you just slide it in where it's supposed to go. Once you slide it in place, push the clip, put the donut behind, and when you put pressure on it, it's going to expand in the donut and then it holds it in place. After you put that on, then you can go ahead and peel this off. Alright you guys, so same thing on this rear visor. I peeled that foam, peeled the part of the double-sided tape, that red piece, heated it up a little bit, lined up where these little anchors are going to go, and I pulled the rubber back. Usually I don't have the doors open when I install visors, but for these, because they have that type of anchor, I do. I feel like it just makes it a little easier. So I put that anchor in place, then line up the edge of this visor with the edge of the window trim. And same thing, I put my finger right here so that tape doesn't touch. And then I get this other anchor in. And after that, I apply pressure down a little bit. And then start removing my finger from this area to push it down. Then I put the rubber trim back in right here. Apply pressure not to the actual thin part of the visor, but to the trim where the tape is holding it on. And then same thing, I just peel this part. Guys, so that's it for the install on this side. The other side, you're going to do the exact same thing. Hopefully this video helps you guys out on how to install these visors on 13 to 17 Accord sedan.